what is next. What is next? It's a very educative program raising questions that are confronting us as a country and also seeking relevant answers from people who have accumulated wisdom in this country. Recently, on What is Next, Justice Francis Shaw raised a very important issue for us, that if this country is serious about the corruption fight, and we are really, really serious about issues about transparency and accountability, our target now must be on our schools. Now, this afternoon, my guest is going to help us to unravel whether the direction Justice Emil Short is giving to this country is feasible. When we go to our schools, what is there for moral formation? And is it relevant at this stage to target the schools with the challenges that even they are already having? Viewers, my guest this afternoon is Lady Queene Asiedu Akrofi, a former headmistress of Presbyterian Boys Secondary School, Presec. Lady, you are welcome to What is Next.
Thank you, Reverend.
Please help my viewers. We have been hearing of you, Lady Queene, lady. Who is the lady behind Lady Queene?
Thank you very much. Lady Queene comes from the family of Professor and Mrs. Asiedu Akrofi of Latte. Professor passed on some decades ago. I was born into a family of 5, 2 young men and 3 budding young girls. My family is very, very close in the sense that my dad was a loner. He was born alone. So he decided to make his family a miniature of society. I had my secondary education at Archbishop Porter Girls Secondary School. I did my O-levels and proceeded to St. Louis Girls Secondary School. From there, I proceeded to the University of Cape Coast. Had my first degree in arts with the emphasis on French option. And I decided I wanted to go into teaching. So as soon as I finished, I did my national service at Archbishop Porter, my alma mater. And I served there for 10 solid years to give of my best as a teacher from national service. From there, I thought I needed a change because of the values that our parents had instilled in us. So I moved on, went to Ghana Secondary Technical, GSTS Takoradi. Spent 2 years there, moved to Laboni Secondary School. From Laboni Secondary School, I moved on to Accra Girls because I had reached the administrative stage of my career. And because of the leadership qualities that were popping up, I thought, once I'm in education, in the Ghana Education Service, I needed to reach the top by being a head of a school. So I I became the assistant headmistress at Accra Girls for 6 years, nurturing our young girls. And I wasn't satisfied because you are only assisting the head, and I want to be a head. So after 5 years of training, I decided to have a field. This was about 2005, to have a field of headship interviews. So I gave myself 2 years. Within 2 years, I must head a school. And I attended my first interview for headship for Accra Academy. That was to get the feel. So I wasn't too sad when I did not make it. And I moved on. Then in 2006, I gained headship to West Africa Senior High School. And there I became the first headmistress after 60 years of the school's existence. I moved on, working hard, nurturing these young ones. And then at the end of 2015, I was transferred to Presbyterian Boys Secondary School.
We'll talk more about Presbyterian Boys because it seems you happen to be the first lady to head Precept Boys Legon.
Yes.
And what that means. But you mentioned some values from your dad. Growing up, what were some of the values that were very important to you? Values that you've been able to keep even up to now?
Thank you. Growing up, our parents, especially my dad, being a teacher, his wife also being a teacher, you can imagine we had to be truthful, to show respect, confidence. You must show confidence in everything. Hard work and order of priority. And these have stayed with me up till date. Even when the going is tough, I'll not let you know it's tough. I brave it. And it is always backed by Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So anytime the going is tough, it just clicks. And I'm able to do it.
Are there some people who have served as mentors in your life? People who, either your professional life or growing up or school days, one or two people that publicly you want to acknowledge and say thank you to such people?
Thank you. Yes. I'll begin with my father, the late Professor Asiedu Akrofi, of blessed memory. This man made us feel that our family was a miniature society. So there's so many things that he taught us. Even before we could step into class 1, primary school, we realized that we were equipped. And Prof, one would think as a teacher he's strict and whatnot. But he encouraged us. Prof will make us feel the pinch when there's the need. And he will encourage us. I also want to acknowledge Mrs. Akosia Techua Edu, former regional director of Greater Accra and the Eastern region. This lady happened to be a French teacher, And she realized I was interested in the language. And so she started advising me what to do. And almost all the advice she gave me worked. And she saw some leadership qualities in me. So she always encouraged me. Up till now, she still encourages me. You are retired, but it's not over. But for these two people, I wouldn't have been who I am today.
Lady, have you failed examination before?
Oh, sure.
You are a daughter of a professor, headmistress Presec Legon. Have you ever failed examination?
I have.
You?
Yes. That's only a title, professor of education, headmistress. The bottom line is, I'm human. You know what? Let's delve deep into my relationship with Professor Asiedu Akrofi. Prof could categorize members of his family, especially the children. He says, I have 3 groups of children. Those with the finer brain, and they just read and it sticks. And there are those who are average, and they strive hard, and they are able to make it. And then there are those who just don't give up for nothing. I happen to be the one just a little above average, but I proved him wrong when I peaked and I was in my teaching career. Now, if you fail an examination, that's not the end of the world. And that doesn't mean that's it. What's important is to pick up the pieces and get up. That's where the mentorship comes in. So Professor Asiedu Akrofi will tell you, you have failed the exams, you need to write. And this dates back as far back as 1982. When I entered the university. And then during my 3rd year, I had to repeat. And by then he was a lecturer at Ahmadu Bello University, Nigeria. So I thought, and I was the only child in Ghana schooling, the rest were with them. If I've not made it, I could go there and school. And he says, no, this is where you have to finish. And failing is not the end of everything. You can make it. So he encouraged me. And I got the vibes. I decided I'm going back. And I did exceptionally well. Professor Boafo, Y.S. Boafo, the French department of the University of Cape Coast. He's a witness to this.
Viewers, I'm in conversation with Lady Queene Asiedu Akrofi, former headmistress of Presbyterian Boys Secondary School. Young people, especially who are watching us, I'm hearing a daughter of a university professor. She is telling me that once upon a time, she failed examination. But today, she's the lady we are celebrating. No matter what you are going through, you can still pick up the pieces. Viewers, we will be back very soon. Just wait for us. And the clip that Justice Emil Short has on it raised an issue for us. We just want to watch it briefly, and I will continue my conversation with Lady. We'll be back very soon.
The educational authorities are involved, and it's that I find so disturbing, because these are the youth who we expect to be the leaders of the future. you know. And so you find a lot of young people these days, they want to get rich quick. There is this 419 syndrome where the youth engage in all kinds of practices to make money, you know. And so there is moral decadence, and we have not done enough to create a climate of integrity and honesty in our body politic. But I must admit that we have a national anti-corruption plan, a 10-year national anti-corruption plan, 2015 to 2024, which seeks to improve the moral fiber of the country. There are a number of activities in that plan which include SHRAJ, for example, developing anti-corruption materials for schools, ethics, code of ethics for schools. And SHRAJ has been in touch with the Ghana Education Service to incorporate these ethics materials into the curricula of the schools, but it has not yet succeeded in convincing the Ghana Education Service to do so. I understand Star Ghana has got a consultant who has also come up with the kind of ethical studies that can be included in the syllabus of schools at the JSS and SHS level. So they are...
Welcome back, viewers. Now from Justice Francis Emil Short, we need to pay attention as far as our young people are concerned, because the values we need that employers are calling for, the work ethics, the sense of patriotism, the sense of nationalism, public discipline, hard work, time management, even healthy relationship. For him, we must target the next generation of ideas, our young people. Lady, with what Justice Emil Short is saying, are we looking at the wrong place for the right things? He said we should come to the schools. When we come to the schools, what is calling for? Can we get them?
Thank you. I think charity begins at home. Where are these children from? Those who come to the school. They are from families, from the home. And the family unit is the beginning of the formation of these young ones. When the child is born, it has the family, the society, immediate society. And the parents are the ones who are to instill these core values. Respect, how to relate to each other, how to show gratitude. There's so many things, so that by age 6, before the child enters the formal education, the child is equipped with these things. And you come to the schools, be it the primary or the secondary, and you build on. Because mind you, much as our emphasis is on academics, we still have these core values embedded in the rules and regulation, and then the school curriculum. So these children, as Justice Short is insisting that it's the school management. Of course, we have our part to play. But if you want to catch them young, you begin. So it is the parents who have a crucial role to play.
Okay, today I have you. So, yes, you've emphasized how many times that the parents, but when we move them from home to you, your
Then
people,
we also,
what can we hope to get from you? When they are in schools, what do we expect?
when you look at the school rules, that's why we have school rules. Discipline is there.
Okay.
When to get up, when to, school rules, time management, discipline, all these things. When the child gets up, the time the child should follow the routine up to the end of the day. And we also have the teachers who are themselves parents, who also have other core values that is expected of them to imbibe into the students. And they also come on board. We have the system of, we have different departments, like the guidance and counseling. It's a team, and they nurture the students because they are all not of the same caliber and may have weaknesses here and there. It is up to us, the teachers, and the counseling section to fish out these things and then help nurture these students. The parents, of course, cannot come and dump them on us and leave. They also have a role to play. They are the major stakeholders. Formally, your child, you could send your child to the school and think it was okay, and we'll do the magic, as they call it. But sometimes, these days, what do we see? Parents come, they think they know it all. Some parents, and they try to lord it, even wanting to teach the school what to do. And you have these students who have unruly behaviors. If I come with my son to come and speak unruly to a teacher, what are you teaching the child? At the end of the day, there's no respect. And if you, the parent, had had good formation at home, I don't think you would call your child to accompany you and go and do that. These things happen, but once they are in our schools, we try to give off our best.
You give me impression that there's expectation gap. Now, employers expect that young people who come from our schools must have sound work ethics. Parents expect their children, when they come from some of the schools you have ever served as headmistress, how to dress, how to relate. But you give me impression that if they are expecting all these moral standards from the schools, they may not get it.
We still have our, as for moral standards, you see, you can't make a dichotomy of it with education. They are together. In the schools, we teach them. We have days where, for example, when I was in Presec, on Mondays, we meet as a family. The chaplaincy is there. We go through this religious, moral education. In the houses, each student has a house. They move into their houses. They are even taught how to dress, how to wear cloth, put on tie, when to use what. The housemasters are there to help them. When they have issues, every teacher is supposed to be a counselor. And we all help. And we insist on the core values again of each school.
If I want to know the core value of a school, who define it? Is it something Ghana Education Service have come out that every Ghanaian child in our schools must have values X, Y, Z? Or are they left depending on a headmistress, headmaster, depending on the school. Now we have grade A and whatever school. So if you go to certain school, then yes, how to walk, how to use cutlery, how to relate, somebody will help you. But if you are not lucky to have a school that values are important to the team, the names you are mentioning, heads, teachers, you can come out from the school, and whatever you say, whether you bath, what you wear, it's nobody's business. Who define the values in our schools for us at the moment in this country?
Thank you. I'm coming from, that is why we have the Ghana Education Service. They are the implementers of the systems that are put in place, are formulated by the Ministry of Education. Now, when you look at the various curriculum of the basic, secondary, you find out that each school, has how do you call it? A motto or
their
crest or whatever it is. But even some of these schools were started by private people. Yeah. For example, West Africa Secondary School. There are others too by the religious groups, the churches. And there are others by the government or the GES. And when they how do I put it? Looking at the history of the schools and their motto, you see what they want to portray.
Okay.
So personally, whichever school I have been, my team, we look at what is expected from the motto. In West Africa, it was faith, industry, and wisdom. These are core values.
Faith, industry,
and wisdom.
And wisdom.
Yeah. So these, you should let the students know and explain to them in different ways. Their way of life, their studies, industry. Not only industry as we know in breweries, factories, but hard work. And you need wisdom in all these things. So going through this and making everybody, teachers, non-teaching staff, and the students aware that this is where we are going from. Here, we are moving here. You realize that they are able to pick. And then they move on. So sometimes it's from the GES, sometimes too, it's already there.
But we need to do more, because the expectation of government and Association of Ghana Industry from Ghanaian young people, we must find out whether we have integrated those values into the curriculum we are running. But you keep talking about parents and teachers. Now, from Justice Emil Short, now it is some teachers and parents who are corrupting our young people. That when we are close to examination, BEC, innocent mind, but parents will get the questions and give to the children. WASI, parents and teachers will get the questions for the young people. Some private institutions or schools that want good results will do anything possible to get questions so that they'll get good results. So at the moment, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I listen to Justice Emil Shaw, it's like now we have parents and teachers and others who are corrupting innocent mind in our schools.
We have the bad nuts everywhere. I'm not, insisting on the fact that it's good. They have lost it. Because as a parent and as a teacher, You are all that the child looks up to. And it's unfortunate, is a few of them who have done that and are trying to influence others. But that's wrong. Society should frown on these things. And for me, I can't get it, because as a parent, as a teacher, then why are you a teacher?
Lady, I just want you to look straight to this camera and repeat what you have said to Ghanaian parents who are corrupting innocent mind by buying examination questions from whatever source for them. Talk to them. We don't know who is watching you.
Parents and teachers who are condoning and conniving to poison these young, innocent children. You've lost it. It's wrong. Because you are the custodian of the children. You have to exhibit the core values. With our national anthem, it says, this patriotic song, Yangara Yasasini, Eyabodendema, yeah. And these future leaders, what will they have if we continue to do that? I would advise and pray that you have a good introspective analysis and stop it. Corruption, if it is going this far, then the country has no future. The family unit is the most crucial part of society. So if your children are going to do well, it depends on you. Most of the times, you're thinking of get rich quick. You lost it because you were not able to acquire the training. Most of the times we have become semi-European or Western. We have lost it and become Europeans. But they don't do that. Right from the word go, the little child knows correct from wrong. So I would beg of you, this is not proper. It won't take us anywhere. And let's go back and teach these children. My parents taught me truthfulness, certain core values. Bring me, try to bribe me, you won't be able to succeed. So parents, I count on you. The onus lies on you. Give them the proper foundation. When it is firm and they come to the schools, we are just more of a conduit. We will do our best and build on the solid foundations you have built. And then we move on to the tertiary. And then Mother Ghana is the great recipient.
Thank you. Viewers, I'm in a conversation with Lady Queene Asiedu Akrofi. For now, I'll only say former headmistress of Presbyterian Boys Secondary School. I know others will not be very happy because West Africa Secondary School and the others will also want to claim a bit of her. But she's raising very important issues for us, that when it comes to moral formation, the foundation must come from the family, from the parents. Yes, it is true. When the children come to schools, the school administrators and managers must also build on it, but it will be difficult if the child brings nothing, if the foundation is not there, or even the effort they make, if they come home and the parents are continuously corrupting the minds of the children. We have moral decadence as a challenge in this country. And parents and all of us must come together to respond to this challenge. Lady, if I go to some of the schools that by grace you have served either as a teacher or head of administration or like any other school, and I randomly pick 10 students and ask them the question I asked you earlier on some of the values that you cherish, that what are the values they cherish, that they want to live and die for? What are some of the values that Ghanaian students in your former schools will tell me these are our values, we want to live and die for them?
Respect. Hard work. Because we have different categories of students in our schools. And they know their levels. So they try very hard to put in their effort. And the students are always chasing the teachers. I keep using West Africa because I actually passed them through about 4 or 5 generations, and they're well seasoned and they fit into society. Others will talk about fellow feeling, because you don't see your friend suffering and you just sitting and not doing anything. For example, at Presec Legon, they have the student support system. Students out of their own volition will identify needy students and they come to the chaplaincy or anybody they meet. This is what we want to do. And they help the students. Sometimes gone were the days when we used to pay school fees. Right now, because of the free SHS, so you don't pay. Students will pick money from their own pockets, gather, and this is for these boys.
You witnessed this?
Yes.
Secondary school?
Reverend Laye is that any Presec teacher, the house master, you name it, ask them. And it's so touching. When I was in WAS, we didn't have a formal support system. But after school, they will wait for the headmistress. And what is it? Madam, this student has a problem, this. And we would sit and identify and find out, oh, madam, this child, okay, I stay quite close. I will tell my mom and dad so that this child can come and stay with
Ghanaian children?
Yeah, others.
Oh, then there's still hope.
There is. But sometimes we try to talk too much and make too much noise that we don't delve deep to find out what is going on. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, but if we don't know, then the few bad not will dominate.
They shouldn't. So, respect, fellow feeling, hard work. And wherever I have taught, as a teacher or head of management, I have told them that before God, we are equal. And some parents will bear me out. Whenever the first years come and we talk to them, I tell them, welcome to Presec. I'm using Presec, I just exited. Yeah. Here, there is a leveler. We are all equal. Whether your father is Professor Asiedu Akrofi or your mother is a wachi seller. And so we are equal. We don't show off. We go, we eat, we do everything together. And it sinks. I remember telling 2 years ago, those students are now in second year university. This too shall pass. And because it got to a point, the so-called rich people were worried. The children were worried. They weren't secured at home, some of them. And the dadabas, the ejabas, as we call them, brought some students to me and told me, Mom, these students need our help.
The rich children need help.
Yes.
From who?
Themselves. That they needed help. I said, what kind of help? You know, peer pressure. They compare a lot and talk about issues. So this one is, I have to go and declare it here, but I have a habit of treating everybody special, the students. So I have certain times I invite them to my home and we talk about nitty-gritty issues, pure family issues, and they come up. And at the end of the day, the two parties just gel and tell their parents that this is what happened. And so they are each other's people. No, I mean, you wouldn't see that because...
But you give me impression that for you, being a headmistress, it's like a calling. It's like, it's a ministry for you. You did it as a mother. You are not obliged as a headmistress to call people to your home. And you were dealing with boys.
Sure.
You are the first lady and the only lady who has managed a school, boys' school like Presec. Were you not scared?
3,000.
3,000 boys. Over 3,000 boys. Yeah. And adding all the noise they make, shouting, and still inviting them. So the way you are presenting, the picture I'm getting is like a mother treating 3,000 plus boys. This should not have been part of your
the professional.
That's the impression I'm getting. And I don't know if this is how the trend is. That this is how headmasters, headmistresses are taking the teaching profession.
You see, John Maxwell is my favorite leadership mentor. And I learned from him that everything rises and falls on leadership. We have
say it again.
Everything rises and falls from leadership.
Okay.
By John Maxwell. We have different kinds of leadership style. But at the end of the day, you, the leader, should ask yourself, what is it I want to achieve in this job I have been given? Remember, they are human beings. And you treat them as you would yourself. Now, if a child, you keep stressing, go and study, go and do this, and the child is hungry, what will you do? So, you see, it isn't written anywhere that you have to, but you use your head. These are personal traits I learned from my family. And I have passed it on, and it is working. At the end of the day, what you want is for the child to work. And I use that strategy. Others do. Some heads do. They are not obliged. And they are not doing it because they want a favor from who? No. But just so that the ultimate aim will be achieved. That they will come out. And most of the time, they do.
Yeah, but here is where I have problem. Elsewhere, I was recently reading a report from Japan and US and other articles where the teachers have access to professional development. It is not like you do one lifetime professional exams, you pass, the rest of your life you are a teacher. There are several professional development aspects that teachers go through, and like medical officers, and they have become the highest, the best paid people. I don't see that in this country. In fact, I think at the moment even your people are calling for whether strike action or threatening something. Teachers are always calling for arrests, have not been paid, and all that. Tell me, do we have professional development packages for teachers, so that they can now not do the job as, my job, even I'm not happy because of my salary and the rest, but this is me, the kind of thing you are telling me and my viewers, because we don't see that. Teachers in this country are always calling for something extra, not happy, and if you have that attitude, how do you handle another child who is hungry? You said if a child is hungry, you don't tell the child, go and study. You feed the child. But if the teacher herself is hungry, and if the teacher wants professional development, but the opportunities are not there, how can such a teacher feed a hungry child?
Thank you. All over the world, you said some countries have streamlined and they have something. The Ghana Education Service is supposed to run these professional development courses. It's a continual thing, and teachers will be trained. What they normally do is the in-service training. But again, I'm sure it's because of financial issues. So it isn't as rampant or often or regular as it should be. This continuous professional development. Because I have taught for 33 years. For all these 33 years, imagine I didn't update myself. I'm sure I would have poisoned most of the students. What happens from my perspective since I entered the field and then assumed the leadership mantle, I realized that they weren't forthcoming because of the constraints, maybe monetary constraints. So what some of us as school heads did was to try and run these development CPD for our teachers. And because not all of us will be capable of doing it because of the financial constraints, you may get schools endowed with IGF, internally generated funds, others not. But what I used to do was to go beyond that, meet other private sectors, entrepreneurs, or anybody outside my field who can help to run these courses for my teachers. And I invite lecturers from University of Cape Coast, depending on what the theme of the program is. I've been doing this for years, and not only for their teaching, but also the non-teaching staff. And it helps them. So I would suggest that the PTA, the board, the school board, these two should find ways of just finding means to run these courses for the teachers, because no matter what, you have to. And the leaders themselves, when I became a head, I realized I needed help.
Yeah, you see, because the expectation from our schools and our teachers so high, from those in industry, from those in government, from parents, even from religious people. What we are expecting from Ghanaian youth and therefore the teachers. But even the teachers don't attract the public respect and the public attention and the support, and that is the issue you are raising. Now, we don't know who is watching us, but again, let's use this camera and make the appeal again for professional development for teachers and public respect, because you don't expect teachers to give you so much. And industry is not in our schools. Maybe at the university, yes. And you are saying Presec, but we're so close to Accra. But schools far away from Accra, how do they get people to support them? But how do we integrate what you are telling me into the whole educational system, that teachers get the professional development to be the people we want them to be, for our children to become the children we want them to be? Just talk to my viewers.
Viewers, I think this continuous professional development, we all know is very vital to successful teaching and learning. Teachers will have to develop themselves. Leaders, heads, will also have to develop themselves. I'm making an appeal to, first of all, the Ghana Education Service, and then extend it to the Ministry of Education. Let us find ways of making sure that this continuous professional development is executed. Board members of the various schools, SMCs in the JSS, basic schools, let us find ways and make sure that our children are able to get what is due them. Now, when we think of this professional, continuous professional development, it needs a lot of time. It needs a lot of leadership skills. But all these things, I would once again appeal to the GES to make sure that there is time devoted to these continuous professional courses. If their heads are not able to get what they want for their teachers, the students suffer. Parents, academia, make sure that you are able to reach out in whatever way you can. Sometimes the hands of the GES, I'll call it, are too heavy. There's so many things that they have to do. But make sure that you also, this is an appeal, come to our aid. The school in Wale Wale may need help. I should be able to lift my hands and go to the vicinity of that region and help, ask from wherever, just to make these courses available for the teachers. And I know you will be there to help us. After all, it's for Mother Ghana.
Mother Ghana.
Thank you.
Lady, if we want our schools to guarantee us the desired moral and ethical standards in this country, what must we do differently? From your 30, how many years teaching? 33. 33 or 35?
33.
33 years. If we want moral formation to be a cutting edge, that this country will not only build, now our contractors are giving us roads that don't last. We are having politicians that are sometimes difficult to trust. Our people are signing contracts that you ask yourself, have we thought about the future? medical officers. People are importing fake drugs into this country. We have reached a point that moral foundations must be revisited. If we want to target our schools and do things differently, share your thoughts with me. Where do we start from?
I think, you see, I always come back. If you have caught the children young from the family and move them persistently up the ladder, we wouldn't have this. But because we have missed it somewhere, and it's permeated the body politic of the Ghanaians. As you say, contractors are not, everybody is at fault. I think we need to go back to the basics. Let the systems work. I learned accountability from the home. I learned how to be courteous from the home.
So you are still going back
you see,
to the home.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's only that, because after all, these parents are the same contractors.
Yes.
But if they've lost it down there,
In the home.
look at the roads.
Yes. Parents, this is where time will allow us. I've been in conversation with Lady Queene Asiedu Akrofi on the moral formation of Ghanaian youth, especially in our schools. And she will bring me back to the home, that if we miss it at the home, teachers will not have the foundation to build on. And she is calling for professional development resources for teachers that don't demand higher standard from teachers without also giving them access to professional development. But she has said some interesting things, that there's still hope, because we still have Ghanaian young people in our schools who have fellow feeling, who want to be there for others. We must not give up, but we have a long way to go. This is GTV, the authentic voice of Ghana, and this is what is next. My guest has been Lady Queene Asiedu Akrofi. I'll come your way next week, same time. Till then, God bless our homeland Ghana and make this country great and strong. Lady, thank you very much for sharing our evening with us.
You're welcome.
God richly bless you.
Thank you.
Are we off?